He kōna ipurangi tēnei nā te reo irirangi o Aotearoa.
Readers of the Waikato Times might have been startled by the front page headline last Wednesday and the picture of a nifty little white aircraft dangling a box on a string below it. Drone deliveries to take off, said the headline, but deliveries of what and where?
Piping hot pizza will soon be winging its way across the skies of Huntly. Yes, you read that right. Huntly will be the first place in Aotearoa to receive pizza and courier packages delivered by drone.
A spokesperson for pizza chain Domino's told the Waikato Times it was proud to be part of the drone delivery trials in Huntly with the drone maker Skydrop, and that night, TVNZ's 7 Sharp also took up the story.
Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's a home delivery drone.
A swarming, loud aerial invasion is about to take off in Huntly in what's been touted as the way of the future.
When the impossible becomes possible. A slice of heaven is about to drop from the skies as Domino's trials drone deliveries in Huntly.
And at the end of that report, 7 Sharp viewers saw the host Daniel Faitaua munching fried chicken from a bucket in a fairly predictable visual gag that cracked up co-host Hilary Barry.
Daniel, did you get a drone to drop that off?
Mm-hmm.
Did you think to order me any?
No. No.
The next day, the story also intrigued Morning Report on RNZ National.
The Waikato town of Huntly is buzzing, or soon will be, with drones set to start delivering pizzas in the next few months. It is a first for Aotearoa, with the Civil Aviation Authority granting approval to American company Skydrop to start the delivery service.
But it was the prospect of other greasy goodness from above that excited Corandan's new co-host, Ingrid Hipkiss.
It feels a bit like the Jetsons or something, doesn't it? I mean, will it catch on? I mean, we had the driverless cars with Google. They haven't quite caught on yet, have they?
Get onto KFC and I'm on board. Maybe not
you
the
reckon?
pizza,
A bucket of chicken wings arriving on your doorstep. That'd do it, would it? Yeah, maybe it would.
But the hungry of Huntly with long memories might not be holding their breath because this wasn't quite a first. Back in 2016, News Talk ZB was telling listeners this.
Kiwis waiting for their pizzas to be delivered could soon be looking skywards as Domino's has been given the green light to test a new drone delivery service. The pizza giant has partnered with leading drone business Flirty to launch the first commercial drone delivery service of the world, starting later this year.
Flirty, by the way, is the former name of the company now known as Skydrop. And back then, on the now defunct Radio Live, Mark Sainsbury imagined the scene like this.
You're sitting at home, you're just sitting there relaxing, then all of a sudden,
oh, they're so loud too.
It's sort of coming, past your window and, some pizza goes by.
Now that followed one successful Domino's drone drop on Auckland's North Shore, which was reported around the world. In the UK, The Independent, for example, said New Zealand led the world when it gave women the vote and introduced inflation targeting, and now this. But it turned out that Domino's had already drone-dropped pizza in London just the year before.
Last month, Domino's Pizza teamed up with a creative ad agency titled Tea and Biscuits to test out a prototype for a flying drone that can deliver cheese pies.
And the previous April, Domino's did it in Greece as well, though their transport minister wasn't there to eat it. However, 7 years ago, our one, Simon Bridges, was on hand to gobble up pieces of the pizza that was drone-dropped on a whangaporoa picnic blanket.
The government's excited about it because, it shows that the regulations we've put in place are getting us ahead of the curve in this area. But I think the other thing is it just gives New Zealanders a taste of the future.
And also tasting the future back then was Domino's main man from Australia, who told the Herald this.
True drone powered by Flirty will be a permanent part of our delivery fleet.
He says pizza by drone could be commonplace in as little as 2 years.
Is this a gimmick or not? Absolutely 100% no gimmick. We are dedicated to this as a brand and as a business to move forward. We see it as the way forward for society in general.
And Domino's boss here in New Zealand told TV3 this.
This is a rollout. We feel really good about it, and then we just continue to expand it. 1 drone, 3 drones, 10 drones. Yes, you're right, hundreds and thousands of drones.
But that rollout somehow rolled back, and 2018 came and went without flying pizza store to door, and no sign of hundreds or thousands of delivery drones pushing pizza through the air. Now, it also turned out that even here in New Zealand, Domino's had been beaten to the punch. In April 2015, TV3's Campbell Live show featured Gisborne cafe owner Dave Drummond dropping off lattes in people's laps by drone. And in 2016, the Gisborne Herald even reported Dave Drummond challenging Domino's to a drone drop-off race. But lacking Domino's PR muscle, Dave Drummond's story didn't quite go as global. Now, back in 2015, Dave Drummond told TV3 that his delivery drones were foiled by rules that restricted deliveries to open areas with line of sight to the aircraft, and those rules weren't any different for Domino's. And as scientist Michelle Dickinson told Radio Live at that time, that meant you could only really do deliveries in places with few customers, let alone many pizza shops.
If you're going to fly it manually, why don't you just walk in your pizza somewhere? It just seems very silly.
So why are they doing this then?
It's, I might get shot for this. I'm going to say it's a publicity stunt to talk about
pizza.
Well, and that's because we have great laws for rural areas. We do amazing drone work in forestry, for example, out there on stations in farmland, and we're incredible for that. But you're not going to have a pizza there.
An interesting point. Innovation was happening, just without the pizza-flavoured headline hook, and we'll come back to that. Now, back then, under the headline Domino's drone delivery trial is PRBS, tech writer Chris Keel also pointed out that the Civil Aviation Authority rules mean you can't fly a drone over someone's property without their permission, and he also said the CAA required a robust and comprehensive risk management plan. But that drone had already done its job, said Chris Keel. Now it can be parked in the cupboard next to the pizza delivery robot. So is this week's story then just a PR rerun of the 2016 False Dawn? Well, not quite. In June last year, Skydrop, formerly Flirty, announced second phase trials when New Zealand borders reopened in June 2022 with a bigger drone that could carry 2 large Domino's pizzas with 1 soda and 1 side dish, including dipping sauce. And last Wednesday, the Herald's aviation writer Grant Bradley said that Skydrop has received what's called Part 102 approval from the CAA to launch in Huntly, and also approvals from the Waikato District Council. Now, it can currently conduct these approved delivery operations during daylight hours, said Grant Bradley, within the geographical area of Huntly, but below 120 metres. And a 3-day trial in the town had already been run last November, he said, evidently, though, without the media or any government ministers on hand for a photo opportunity. And a 6-week commercial Domino's trial is set for later this year, Grant Bradley reported. And there's more. Australia-based Swoop Aero has approval for drone flights on the west coast for Te Whatu Ora, Health New Zealand, and it plans to transport medical samples between Westport and Greymouth for processing. And last December, RNZ's Phil Pennington reported on a whole host of businesses applying for the same Part 102 safety sign-off for unmanned aircraft operations. One client, for example, wanted to spray with a drone on farms, but was told 2 years ago that they were 40th in a very slow-moving queue. And some applicants told Phil Pennington that businesses had given up or even taken their innovations offshore instead, while the CAA was struggling to appoint extra inspectors to speed things up. Now that's quite a story. Innovation and inertia, new technology butting up against old barriers. But once again, it was the airborne pizza angle pushed by a fast food brand with a big PR budget that got headlines for a first, even though it was really pretty stale stuff.
So is the sky the limit for this sort of technology, or is it just a temporary fad?
When TVNZ's 7 Sharp show wasn't munching KFC for comic effect on Wednesday night, they also asked an actual expert in aviation law, Dr. Maria Pozza, if pizza by drone is really any more likely to take off now.
This particular case in point, I'm not sure it's the altitude that the drone will be operating under, but it's certainly going to be below commercial air flights. But we are going to see more and more utilisation of, for example, satellite technology that's going to help with GPS positioning, especially for these drones that carry payloads to remote areas. So it's a wait-and-see situation at the moment.
We will indeed, as she said there, wait and see. But even if airborne takeaways in the daytime in Huntly don't take off as Domino's hopes, we wonder how long we'll have to wait before we see the next round of reports predicting that it will.